Hello, everyone. My name is Stanley St. Rose, and today we're going to be talking about The Red Wheelbarrow, written by William Carlos Williams. Now, before I go into summary analysis of this work, please remember to leave a like, subscribe, and/or comment so that the channel can continue to grow. Now, The Red Wheelbarrow is a very interesting poem. Here, William Carlos Williams proposes an image, depicts an image that's you know it's an image. I mean, there's no other way of describing it. He gives us an image. You have a red wheelbarrow. It's glazed with rainwater, and then besides it is white chickens. That's the poem, and it tells us that so much depends on this red wheelbarrow glazed with rainwater beside the white chickens. I mean, it's a picture. It paints a picture for you, and well, I mean, there's different interpretations of what this poem means or what it talks about, but I mean, straightforwardly, if we look at this straightforwardly, it tells us that a lot depends on this little red wheelbarrow that's standing beside the white chickens. It's kind of like the poem is telling us, look at this red wheelbarrow that's besides the white chickens. It's like pointing at the wheelbarrow. He's like, that wheelbarrow right there, that red wheelbarrow right there, that's covered, that's glazed with rainwater, a lot depends on it. And I mean, the first way you can interpret this poem or analyze it, it's like, well, yeah, I mean, a wheelbarrow serves a lot of functions. I mean, you can use it to carry things, to move things on a farm from place to place. You can use it to move, farm products. You can use it to. I mean, I've seen people use wheelbarrows for all types of things. To carry all types of things on a farm, construction site. You can use a wheelbarrow for any type of luggage, basically. And the poem is saying a lot depends on it. When we look at simple items like this, usually on a daily basis, we kind of like gloss over them. We don't see them as important. We don't see but this picture really shows us the importance and the significance of everyday items in our lives. I mean, you might have a table in your house, you might have a couch, a television, a spoon, a refrigerator. And after a while, you get used to these things, and they're just things that are here. But when we really truly think about it, there's so much beauty in them. There's so much that we depend on them for. I mean, your fridge, it might just be a fridge, but without it, your life would be extremely harder because you wouldn't be able to save food for as long as you do. Without the fridge, there's just so many things that you wouldn't be able to keep at your house. I mean, we store ice cream in our fridges, we store meat, we store food. You could store food for weeks in your refrigerator, and it doesn't spoil. You can put the burgers in your freezer, and it will last weeks, months even, without rotting to the point where it could kill you. Household items that really help you in terms of saving food, in terms of eating, in terms of getting things done. They're quite significant. But this poem kind of like forces us to think about the ordinary things, how much depends on them, and if you didn't have them, well, what would you do? Because I could imagine a farm without a wheelbarrow. It would be very hard to move things around, or it would take hours in your day to move things by just your hands if you don't have a wheelbarrow. So without a wheelbarrow, there's a lot of things that involve heavy labor that would be more consuming, more time consuming than others. I mean, the poem, it tells us what's important here, what depends on the wheelbarrow in terms of this. Well, we can assume that maybe this is on a farm because we see the white chickens, but also ordinary things. I mean, think about the wheelbarrow. I mean, the poem makes it, for some reason, it tells us about the color of the wheelbarrow and the color of the chickens. So we know the colors, the details of these items, and how they're important. If we think of the importance of these things, of how they build, because the poem builds upon things like so much depends on a little red wheelbarrow. that's glazed in rainwater, and besides the white chickens. I mean, all these things, rainwater, the wheelbarrow, the chickens, these are all things that are very important to human life and society. Well, chickens, we can understand how important chickens are from, producing food. People eat a lot of chicken. The wheelbarrow moves a lot of materials. The rainwater, well, we all understand how important rainwater is. I mean, there's different ways of interpreting this poem, but if we look at it from the imagery that's depicted, it's just telling us that these objects are important. This wheelbarrow is important. It's very significant, and there's a lot of responsibility placed upon its shoulders. And without it, well, I mean, a lot of things would fall. These little inventions, these things that humans have invented, although they might seem simple and ordinary, a lot of things depend on them because they make our lives, 100 times easier. And for lots of people around the world, wheelbarrows have made life extremely easier because you don't have to use that much physical force to move things around by hand when you have a wheelbarrow. So again, this poem, different people will interpret it differently, but I think the most on the surface interpretation or most clear cut definition is by looking at the simple things in this world, the simple objects, and realizing how valuable they are. Because in our lives, things like a wheelbarrow, a refrigerator, a table, a spoon, simple objects, we do rely upon them. I mean, have you ever tried eating cereal with a fork? It's horrible, a spoon. So much depends on my spoon when I'm trying to eat a bowl of cereal, because like these simple objects, although they're not, a spoon is like, you could buy a spoon of couple with change. But a spoon is very important when you're trying to eat your food, especially like soup and cereal. The spoon is probably the most important thing in your household when you're trying to eat liquid meals. The fork. I mean, when you're trying to eat spaghetti, the fork is probably extremely, because you're not going to try to eat spaghetti with your bare hands. That's not a successful endeavor. So objects, depending on this usage, depending on the situation, their importance skyrockets. And on this farm, this we're assuming that it's a farm. In terms of moving food, moving products, moving materials, this little red wheelbarrow is extremely important. And a lot of things are dependent upon it. So that's the poem. Please remember to leave a like, subscribe, and or comment. And I'll see you guys in the next video.